I'm only 175 pounds, soaking wet, but I wanted to challenge myself, so I took on the heavyweight division in Jiu-Jitsu. But here's the caveat. I've only competed one time at black belt. I went up against 2 other black belts, won by points. It was cool, I got to bring home a belt, but this time around, I'm the smallest person by far. But I'm preparing to go to the world tournament for black belts, so I had to kick things up a notch. For this first match, I was going up against a behemoth. With the world's most awkward handshake out of the way, I put pressure on him immediately. I don't want to be this guy's next meal, so I push forward knowing he can't shoot if I have too much pressure going into him. Then I find the golden opportunity to snap down his head and lock up a guillotine. With my vice grip like strength, I fall to guard to finish off the choke, and that's it. Replaying this, notice how every time I engage, I'm fighting his hands because I need them out of my way. Now I can snap his head and look at this photo. This is the same technique I'm doing to him while covering the top of his neck so he can't just pull his head out. With the football cradle secured, now I can fall down into guard. I drive my hips forward so he can't jump around my guard, then squeeze the choke despite having absolutely no chance of locking these legs around that meaty body. No worries, match 1 is done, took about 15 seconds, so I'm still pretty rested. But up next was this man. This man is huge. He's like an extra from the Black Panther movies. If Wakanda were a real place and I decided I wanted to go venture out to their country, they'd be putting this man at the front to keep visitors out while yelling, They say everything's bigger in Africa, and he's proving all of it true. But enough with the glazing, let's get into the match. I'm antsy to get started, and I do it the same way as the last time we're hand fighting, looking for ties, and immediately I get into a front headlock and start falling down to the mat again. But he's no spring chicken, and he knows that if he can go with the guillotine, it's going to relieve pressure. So he forward rolls over my body, almost taking out my spine in the process, but I kept a strong lock and I switch off into the concrete mixer. Now I have finished this submission an ungodly amount of times, but he is so big that it's tough for me to wrap all the way around his neck, and I have to readjust my body. He makes a great mistake going to his knees because this allows me to sit down and lock up his legs. From here, it's easy for me to get the finish, and I have another quick guillotine. So what were the key moments in this match? Number 1 is that I had a fast front headlock so he couldn't get the takedown on me. Then number 2 is when he rolled over, check out how my toe is connected to his hip. This stops him from pinching my leg in his guard, and I can use my polo game to release my leg until I'm ready to continue the submission. Once he started to build some hip height so he's getting his butt off the mat, I knew I had to go immediately. He tried to jump past my guard, but I was quicker than him and I was able to catch his leg in the transition, and look at how deep I shoved his head down. It's like I made him a one-man human centipede. After guillotining my large foe, I'm now the new Black Panther and I'm moving on into the finals. But I have 2 things to say really quickly. Number 1, if you want to do guillotines just as well as I do to dominate your tournaments, go to my website and use promo code YouTube to get $25 off my course. And 2, my sponsor Transparent Labs is having a huge Black Friday sale. Starting November 28th, you get 25% off all supplements and a free bundle on orders over $150. The bundle includes a gym bag, shaker, and 5 samples of our products. Use promo code Tyler so you're eligible to get the free bundle, and shop around for your favorite discount supplements so you can have the best success on the mats possible. Alright, let's jump into the third and final match to see if I can win the gold medal in the absolute division. Funnily enough, this guy was still bigger than me, but definitely smaller than the other 2 guys, and he was quick to try and keep his head down after seeing me guillotine everybody in my path. We had a lot of tie-ups because I was trying to get to his neck and be able to snap him, but he knew exactly what I wanted to do, so he was keeping his head and arms in tight. Off one of the breaks, he even went for a fake shot, but I think he knew I wanted him to go for my legs, so he quickly pulled that one back. I could sense he wanted to just get in a clinching fight, and that is definitely not my style. It's boring, and I'm here to make a video, so instead of wrestling, knowing he doesn't want to engage, I decide I'm going to pull guard, which is so uncharacteristic for me. But all I really needed was his right leg. And once I had that, I just drilled my shins into his stomach so I could push him over, and then I had to fight off his ties. Once I can clear the hands, I'll get my sweet points. The key concept to this position is to keep as much of your ass on top of their chest. It's so hard for him to move on the bottom. I have all my weight there, and it lets me start prying his feet. I can tell he was getting scared of any leg locks, so he quickly let go and started pulling me into closed guard with overhooks and posture control. This sucks for me because closed guard is definitely my least favorite position to be in. I feel like it's very stall heavy without the gi. He has so many less attacks he could threaten like collar chokes, and instead he's just holding me down. Now I wish I could lie to you guys and say he did something with this control he had, but he didn't. He did a great job keeping his posture low, but he didn't transition to any attacks or even tried to open his guard. I made space a few times, but he was strong, so he was able to keep me in his guard, and it was very tough for me to open. But it got a lot easier once the referee warned him for stalling and he had to let go of double overhooks, and I was able to stand up. Now I could start clapping his cheeks with my knees to start pushing against his hips and create some distance so his legs would finally pry open. And believe me, the second those legs were open, I did not want them to close again. So I started moving the ankles around and I forced him into half guard, but I knew it was a loose pinch. all I had to do was drive my head into his chin and I could start going around his guard and I cut past it like butter. I strongly believe the side control is even better than mount and back control, at least for my type of rolling, and he was going to feel that pressure. I was driving into him and preventing him from even re-guarding until some kids ran into us, but I had a coy plan to put my knee on their stomach. This allowed me to reset in the same position with my knee already there, and I set up a deadly trap with this one. No one likes the pressure of your knee on their stomach, so they always try and push it off, but look at this neat little hole he made for me. I fisted right through there and it gave me an easy connection onto his neck for that same cement mixer grip we saw earlier. He can hear the French trumpets roaring as the revolution's about to hit him as I hit him with the nastiest and dirtiest guillotine grip possible. I'm not lying when I say this, but even a Catholic priest isn't used to something this tight. I finish him with the guillotine and take home the gold medal for the absolute division. To recap the technique, I have to run into him so he can't pull his head out, and as I fall, look how my quad and my elbow are touching. This is the most optimal grip you can have with the guillotine, and Marcelo Garcia will be proud of you if you can pull it off. Overall, a very successful day. Got to do my fastest submission ever in a tournament. I got to take over Africa. And I added some more competition experience to my resume. Bye.